Hello and welcome back to the Spotlight Games podcast for episode 203. I am your favorite dumpster boy, and I finally made Patrick quit the show. And today, on today's docket, one might say, we're going to review Capcom's daddy sim Pragmata. Xbox is cutting the price of Game Pass, but there may be a catch. Sony is in hot water with all digital consumers, and much, much more. But before we get to that, let me introduce you to my host, my co-host, my second chair on today's episode. They said it couldn't be done. They said the combination was too powerful. Some also said the combination would be too disgusting. Well, we said we don't care about your rules or pants. That's right, it's Bama's finest, Jerica Hanna. Jerica, it is such a pleasure to finally get to do a combo show with you. Just the two of us, a duo.
I know. I feel like we've done this once before, but it's long ago. Right? We've done this before.
We did a stream of Borderlands of me and you, and then Audrey was our third person, but she was off screen.
Yeah, that doesn't count because Audrey was there.
No.
Pre 9/11, yeah.
She was like a buffer to make sure we didn't go too far off rails. She was buffing.
We got to have a buffer. We don't have a buffer tonight, so I'm...
Someone, hold on, is Jake Twitch in the chat? If he is a buffer a term for, is that a porno term?
I feel like that's like fluffer, right? A fluffer.
Oh,
fluffer nutter, which is a peanut butter marshmallow fluff sandwich.
And delicious. Jerica, can I tell you a story before we get started?
Yeah.
Okay. So on Friday, I am taking a piss outside. Like I usually do. I live in the woods. It would be much worse if I lived in the burbs, and I'd just fucking walk off my stoop, just taking a piss in the street in front of everyone.
I would be jealous. I really want to be able to do that one day.
Pissing in the street, in the burbs, or pissing in the woods? Because pissing in the woods is very easy to do. Come over to my neck of the woods. You're more than welcome to go take a pee in my backyard.
Really? Okay.
Really. So I don't know if we talked about this on air, but Sid and I, my wife and I, we lost one of our cats to kidney disease. It was a very, very sad situation. He was very young. He was only 13 years old, which is young for a cat. And it was kind of unexpected. It was just a heartbreaking situation. And so fast forward, not even 5 days, I'd say, after George passes away, I've taken a piss in the backyard. And I see this fox in the backyard just take off running. And I'm like, whoa, there's some Japanese fox related folklore that is I'm like, whoa, okay, this is an omen. Then I realize later it's not a fox, it's a cat. And then I start seeing this cat roughly once a week. This tortie, just fucking huge tailed tortie, cute as hell, running around our property. And on this Friday, I'm taking a piss and hear ruffling in the woods. And I said, okay, there's an animal out here, which in the woods, there's always animals. Then I look over and it is that goddamn cat. Okay?
Was it watching you pee?
It was watching me pee.
Okay.
And I think when it saw me pee, it realized that I too was an animal. And it was walks up and we're 15 feet from each other. And it's talking to me. And I'm like, okay, we have to I have to do something here. Because I've seen you now so many times. And my wife and I have already talked about this, that if you see the cat and the cat comes up to you, bring it inside if you can. And I'm like, okay, bet. I'll do it. So an hour and a half later, I've got this cat in my basement.
Jesus.
It was this wild situation. First it came up, it was starving to death. It was starving. And very malnourished and very dirty. And I was able to kind of brush it. It was really loving the attention.
Did it have any ticks? Oh,
it did.
Been...
I pulled it off. We're good. We took it to the vet on Monday. We had quarantine, took it to the vet, came back. No fleas, no worms, no anything. Completely clean. Only thing that was wrong with it was that it was malnourished. However, we have been feeding it, so it's starting to put weight back on. I've named the cat Quigley. And for those of you who are in the know with Save Trash Cinema, you would know that the ultimate Scream Queen is Linnea Quigley from such films like Sorority Babes in the Slime Bowl Bowl-orama, Hollywood chainsaw hookers, Night of the Demons, like fucking Linnea Quigley is Mount Rushmore. Linnea Quigley is all the faces on Mount Rushmore of trash cinema. And I was able to convince my wife, which didn't take a lot because she was like, oh, that's a really cute name actually for a cat, Quigley. Apparently the vet thought so too. Either way, what you guys aren't going to see is she's scratching at the door right now because I think she just wants to see what we're doing because she's very curious. But I got to show Jerica off screen. I will post pictures in Discord, which brings me to something I want to talk about, which is housekeeping, Jerica. Thank you for letting me tell my story about cats. I'm sorry, I didn't open the floor for you to talk about. Let's take a step back.
I don't have a cat story or anything really interesting to say.
You have a dog, though, right?
Huh?
You have a dog, right?
Yeah, I have a dog.
Yeah. You don't have a cat, so you're not a cat person. Strike me as a cat.
I've had plenty of cat. I've had plenty of cat.
Tell me about all the cats you've had in your life, Jerica.
Yeah, I've had a lot of cats. Truly, for real. I've had great cats. I've had horrible cats. Me and Audrey got a cat that was also unhoused, and we took it in. Had way too many fleas. Took care of it, and that cat was just fucking mean. We ended up having to find it another home because it was one of those cats you just sit there and then all of a sudden it's just latched onto your arm and biting you. I had no connection to that cat. It was pure evil.
I learned something today, and this is going to break your heart. There's a thing called an affection eater, and no, this isn't a kink, though Jake tries to make it one. And that is if you have
You're going to tell me the cat loves me. The cat loved me so much.
Maybe.
Damn it.
Maybe, could be. It could be that the cat, no, I think that cat hated you. This cat doesn't. Cat hasn't met you. The cat will probably like you. There's a thing, I found this out. So every time I have a petting session with Quigley, she jumps down off the couch, runs over and eats food, then runs back over. Apparently it's called affection eating. It's when you have a bond with your first bond you make with, and it happens with strays apparently, is over food, then they feel a stress reduction when you give them attention, so then they will go eat.
Good to know.
Just something to talk about. So next time you're looking at a cat, Jerica, maybe you should feed it some food.
And not give it an arm.
Of a Playboy article that I once read. They do have articles. It's mainly just articles, actually, if you've ever read a Playboy. They're just it's all fucking articles and then one fucking vagina. It's boring. About a chick who drank beer through her cooch. It was wild. All right, moving on. Let's do some housekeeping. Okay, so we got a whole lot of stuff to talk about because this is the Spotlight Games podcast where each and every week we spotlight the greatest and the latest in the world of video games. You can get it by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Drop In Drop Out Pod or by searching Drop In Drop Out or Spotlight Games in your favorite podcast app. And hey, you can be on the show by tuning in as we record live Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/dropindropoutpod. So be sure to follow us there so that you're notified when we go live. Jerica, you are part of JK Games/OMG.
Yeah.
What are you guys up to lately? I know you guys have been doing some stuffy stuff. You've burned through some games. Felt like you didn't like a game lately.
Yeah.
Very depressing situation there.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this show that you run.
Oh, we got a couple segments we're playing with still, but we've been doing one more game for a few months now. Just finished Life is Strange Reunion, and after that experience, I was like, we should break this up a little bit because that was tough playing that game for 3 weeks in a row. And also, I don't know if the whole world wants to do that with us, so
Sure.
we're readjusting our show. We'll have one more game at the end of the month, which for next month it is Mixtape will be our game. So if you want to play that when it comes out and then meet back up with us in the month, please do. But until then, each week we'll probably just be diving into the news and just talking about topics that maybe relate to if we're playing a game or if there's something in the news that relates to a bigger topic. That's what we'll be talking about. So back to form with JK Games in the middle of
Back to form. It's okay. You're in. I feel like at least at this point in the age of JK Games, you're kind of in that prepubescent stage where you're trying to find yourself.
Yeah, we're sleeping around.
you're listening to ABBA. Things are feeling different. And, you know,
We're trying out things.
The water faucet in the bathtub is new.
Or the couch arm.
Or the couch. Or the dryer. Or
yes.
the washer.
Yeah. Electric toothbrush.
Or a riding lawnmower.
Yeah. Woo! I love a good leaf blower.
Woo! Okay, well, let's talk about Dido. So on Thursday this week, the team at Dido here are going to be doing James Bond retrospective right here live at 8:30 on twitch.tv/drop-in-drop-out-pod. I can't remember who's going to be on that episode, but it's probably going to be great.
Yeah.
That being said, there is other news, and that is that on Friday, Cognitive Clips is dropping another video essay. What is it about? To be honest, I don't look at that Discord channel, so I don't know.
It's about control.
That's a joke.
The game.
Actually, it is about his porn addiction and
yes.
how he struggles so deeply with BBC. And don't we all, is what I have to say. Don't we all? And finally, join the Dido Discord. The Discord's popping up, and you should join. Go to dropindropoutpod.com to find that and all the different places we're bringing you all that sweet, sweet content. Also, the Discord is the easiest way to be part of our shows with our weekly discussion posts, which we'll be pulling from later this episode, which is not accurate. I did not ask anyone in Discord to give me anything because I play by my own rules, but I didn't edit that when I put the housekeeping in. So fuck you. But before we jump into what we've been playing, I do want to go ahead and do a big shout out to everyone in chat. We got High Score Wiki. We got P-Shrek. We got the aforementioned Cognitive Clips. We got Jake Twitchit. We got Sir Dr. Jim. We got Sierra Shark. We got us. We're here. Everyone's here. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. We have a crazy show. But like we do with every episode, let us start with what we've been playing. Jerica, you've been playing a game with a very interesting title. Is it a porn game?
You know, I wonder if it showed up on y'all's well, yes, was it Smut? Yeah, Smut or Cozy Game. That was it. It could have actually showed up. But I don't know if you've heard of this specific title, but oh my gosh, I have audio on my end. You shouldn't have it on yours, but it just blew out my eardrums. Her and the Pig is something I've been playing.
Her and the Pig?
Hermit.
Hermit and the Pig. That sounds like the movie that P-Shrek is watching, which stars Keke Palmer and a guy with a 12-incher. Tell me more about Hermit and the Pig.
Well, I mean, I think you would probably like both things based on the vibe of this game. I'm not going to go too deep with like my first impressions because we are joining No Small Games on Sunday. I don't know when the episode go out, cool. But this is one of their focuses for this month. And I picked this one because I remember seeing a trailer for it and I was like, that looks funny. It's about this guy. He's a hermit living in the woods, and there's this pig. He's got a pet. They're both wearing beanies, cute little pixel art style. You know, a cozy RPG, some might call it, which I know everyone's
I like that.
You might get annoyed by calling things cozy, but I think cozy is a good way to describe this game because it looks cozy. You're eating mushrooms. I already played like an hour, and the dude got high and got lost in the woods. But it's got some really fun, like turn-based mechanics that I didn't really think I didn't know it had until I started playing. I was like, this, okay, it looks cute and fun, and you're just getting high with your pig. But no, it's a little bit of a challenge. It's like in the moment between turns, like you're having to, there's like timed events, like mini games essentially. Like I feel like I've seen gameplay similar to like, I've never played Paper Mario, but I've seen gameplay like similar to Paper Mario and like how that combat is, but just like dialed down. But so far, really fun game. I like kicking the roaches. That's what I did a lot of. Yeah, Herman the Pig. That's what I've been playing.
That's cool. I like that. I'm watching B-roll live right now. That looks really fun. Where's this at? Where could you play this game?
You can play this on your little PC. Go to Steam and download it. Yeah, only? I've been playing it on the Ally. That back up for this.
So it does support, because that's I think one thing that I struggle with the PC is that I'm locked away in my dungeon, right, when I'm on the PC, and because of that, I don't feel like I get to interact a lot with like the world around me. And so
Yeah.
like I tend to lean more console because I'm more in like an open space, and it's just I feel like more comfortable too. Um, but I love playing on the Steam Deck, but not every game is Steam Deck compatible. So if you can play it on the Ally, then I just presume
It's it's so
Steam
compatible
Deck,
with a
so
handheld
good.
thing. You put your little
Oh
fingers all
fuck
over it
yeah.
like this and just
Oh, I
play it.
love sticking my fingers all over things.
Yeah.
Speaking of sticking fingers on things, I have been playing a game, and I do have to go ahead and say this, that we got a code for this. So we didn't pay out of our own pocket for it. And that is Mouse PI for Hire. And this was a game that I was very excited about when it first got announced. And every single like development cycle, when they would show more off, I'd get more and more excited about it. It is a rubber band style animation, black and white. Feels very like Steamboat Willie, if you're familiar with the old Mickey Mouse cartoons.
Well, now it's
Of
like
this like
free domain. That Mickey, that
right,
mouse is free domain now. And I remember when
dude,
that
it's getting
happened,
fucking
we had so much shit all at once. So I
dude.
forget there might be some gold
Yeah, well, I
and
feel like that's the thing here. Go to Tubi, there's like 20 movies right now called Willie or Steamboat, and none of them are good, unfortunately. I would love to say that they are. They're not. What I can say is that Mouse PI for Hire is good, and I do enjoy it. It maybe isn't as fast paced as I like my boomer shooters, because this is intrinsically a boomer shooter. It is a boomer shooter that also throws in these like very light detective mechanics, which is very fun. Voice acted by none other than Troy Baker and his sweet, cool hats. I'm pretty sure his hats are the voice of like four other characters in the game. But Mouse PI for Hire it's a cool game. It's a fun game. It is hitting for me. I feel like the weapon archetypes that they have in the game are meeting the threshold for what I like out of my boomer shooters, which is variety. I don't think that the shotgun is nearly as punchy as it should be. And I really like harken back to like I think the original Doom games have like spoiled us with a good feeling shotgun, and I think that's hard to replicate. And while this game maybe doesn't have necessarily those same trappings that I personally enjoy, because it is slower in terms of like you're not getting that arena style boomer shooter where it's like there's 40 enemies on screen shooting at you from a billion different places and you have to keep running. There's like, hey, there's 5 or 6 enemies on screen, but you still kind of have to run or you'll get obliterated. So it's kind of in the middle there. I think that this is a really good entry point for people who don't play boomer shooters. I think the reason being is because it is a little bit slower, a little bit more refined, and a little bit pulled back. And I think that that's going to be easier for someone to jump into that than to turn around and play a game like, Proteus or Forgive Me Father, like something like that, which to me, like those are my two favorite modern day boomer shooters. So I do feel like this is a better way for people to get in. And it's a budget title, so you're not, forking out a ton of money. So I think if you are on the fence, if you've seen it, you're watching the B-roll right now, or you've heard about the game, and you're like, hey, you know what? I think I might want to try it. I definitely think that you should jump into Mouse PI for Hire. I think that there's enough here on display for you to play through, for you to be able to find enjoyment, even though it may not necessarily hit all of the buttons for the people who are diehards of this particular genre.
I just like how it looks. I've actually haven't watched a lot of gameplay for this. It's like first time I just sat down and like, I just at a glance and hearing it, even hearing Troy's voices in it, like I just still
Yeah,
like, I
it's
don't
really
know if
good.
I want to get lost in this type of atmosphere.
He
But I don't
chews the
know. Based on
scenery.
what I'm seeing here, it might be something I pick up at some point. I like the
He
art style.
chews.
That's a.
Oh,
I think this
yeah,
art style really meshes well with a boomer shooter. It looks so cool. Like look at the gun.
it
It looks
does.
so good. It's like
It
wiggling
definitely
back and
does.
forth.
It's a very fun. It's a very fun thing. Like I said, Troy Baker, like absolutely, it's full camp, and it's full of little Easter eggs, little jokes, and a lot of memes are like baked into this game. And I think I've heard people complain that it'd be like, oh, it's too trying to be too, it's trying too hard to be funny. But like to be honest, I've laughed quite a bit throughout it and have never
Okay.
felt like it was trying too hard. That may change. You know, I'm almost to the very end. I still have like a couple missions left before I've got the game beat. Then right now the platinum, I'm locked out of the platinum. I know that because there's like a certain area you still can't access. So we'll be going back replaying it again to get the platinum. But so far I stand by the words that I do think that this is a solid pick. Speaking of solid picks, the reason why most people are here tonight, Jerica, the reason that we are here tonight, Jerica, is because Patrick
Yeah.
took the night off.
Oh, yeah.
We're also here for something else. And the reason why everyone else is here is for probably this reason more so too. And that is Pragmata. Capcom has dropped a second banger, one might say. A second banger, Jerica? Is that right? I mean, we could go ahead and just say Pragmata is doing incredibly well, even though it may have some very interesting, let's say, interesting discussions taking place on the internet regarding it, because it seems like it has split people who are like alt-right and like the woke left, or seemingly like on this weird extreme of like
Interesting.
whether or not this is a.
I haven't
You not
dove into
seen?
any of that. I haven't read
Oh,
reviews.
don't. It's
I
disgusting.
feel like Cold Mines was like, this game's great and it's only like 12 hours. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to pick it up. And then I feel like I heard, I mean, it might have been you or Patrick or someone was playing it one night. And I was like, okay, maybe because I played the demo and I got really into the demo more than I thought. And I was like, yeah, I think I'll dive in then since it's a shorter game.
We have Mr. Hawks 182 in the chat asking, "Are you talking about the discourse?" Depends
the
on what you mean
discourse?
by the discourse. And if the discourse is about how apparently people think that this is going to increase Japan's birth rate, then sure, we'll probably discuss that at some point during this review. Right now, Pragmata sits at an 85 on Metacritic. Here's the thing: if you want to go back in time, a few episodes ago, I had a bet with Coal Mines, and the bet was that if Pragmata had an 85% or higher, he had to buy the game for me because I did not think this game was going to do well. I genuinely did not think this game was going to do well. Well, guess what? Pragmata comes out and hits at the time that he bought the game and was like, "All right, well, you got to play it now, dickhead." It was like an 88. I mean, it's still above the threshold. It's doing remarkably well. It is a very interesting game. And I think I'll go ahead, if it's okay with you, Jericho. I'm going to break down a little bit of what the game is, what it's about, and then we'll dive into kind of our feelings of what we've done so far. So Pragmata takes place on the moon. You play as a man named Hugh, who shows up with his team to investigate or to fix, I think repair, some sort of something that has happened. Essentially on the moon, they are 3D printing objects. And you go up as part of this repair team to go fix something. You get there, shit hits the fan. You get befriended by what's called a Pragmata. Her name is, well, you name her, Hugh names her, Diana, or Diane. And she is arguably one of the cutest little fucking things in the entire world, and I will fucking die for her. It's just like a 4-year-old that is just the most innocent, sweetest little fucking thing.
Has
And
an insane grip holding on to Hugh's back the whole time.
yes, that grip. So essentially, as you play through the game, you have to Diana. She will hack enemies, because the thing is Hugh's shitty guns can't damage enemies. They have to be hacked first to open up weak spots. When you do that, you have to use her to hack. Then you shoot. So essentially, what you do is it is a puzzle mechanic baked into a third-person shooter, set in this like hyper futuristic. I don't want to say cyberpunk because that doesn't feel right, but very like future tech kind of world. It almost feels at times a little borderline horror in a way, but like very much sci-fi. So that is a brief explanation, and obviously there's so much more that goes into it, but that's kind of a brief explanation of what Pragmata is, and a little bit about it. Jerica, I want to open up the floor for you here. initial thoughts going in, what did you think? Like, I already said I did not think this was going to do well, or more so, I wouldn't like the game either. Where was your head at when when you first was hearing about this?
I mean, like in terms of like just the review scores or just hearing about the game in
Just
general.
like, well, I mean, just like before you booted the game up, like, I mean, this game, I mean, the history of this game is like, we've known about it for what, 7 years now?
Yeah, I think it was
Capcom,
like
like,
the
dropping
first
teasers.
PlayStation, like PS5 showcase was when the trailer popped for it. And I was like, that looks cool. I was like, at the
Right.
very beginning, I still remember like, oh, is this something that Kojima is touching? Like, is this something that
Sure.
he's making? And it wasn't. It was, Capcom. And I was like, okay, interesting. Um, but yeah, it just the I didn't expect the game that I'm playing today when I saw the trailer. I don't think anyone can
Sure.
really figure out what they're about to play based on trailers sometimes, but yeah, I've always been interested in this game.
Okay.
Just when there's a tiny robot girl on your back, like I need to understand that, and what's the point? But I think it does such a good. Like I'm so glad it's that she is a part of your like the whole gameplay loop is based on this little robot girl on your back and hacking, and I love how concise and how good this game feels so far.
Mhm.
I thought I would get a little overwhelmed
Sure.
by, because like to bring up the menu for hacking, like you're aiming down scope when an enemy's approaching,
Right.
and that brings up the grid to do the hacking. But the game does a really good job of like teaching you. The enemies aren't like shooting you to death. Like they're slowly like, well, they can get to you pretty fast sometimes, but like overall, like they're approaching you and you have time to sort of figure out, how do I want to hack them? Do I have time to hack this robot before this other one blows up beside me? Um, but that loop and that way, like I don't know about you, but the whole time I've been playing, I'm mainly looking at the hack grid and like listening for Diana to be like, "Watch out, Hugh!" So I'm not
Yeah.
not getting beat up.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, I would have never expected this is the type of game that this would be, and I don't think I've played a lot like it. Like for me
No.
personally, it's cool.
Right. Yeah. I can stand by the fact that like I've never played a game like this before. I've never played a game like this before. I hate to say this because I feel like I'm saying that I'm wrong, but I was wrong. I'll just go out and say it. I was wrong. Um, I remember texting Patrick. I didn't play the demo, but I remember texting Patrick right after I booted the game up, and I was like maybe an hour in, and I text Patrick and I was like, and I feel this way about cinema, where I feel like with movies, you can tell within the first 15 minutes of a movie if it's going to be good or not. Like if it's going to be artistically good. Like this is going to be a movie that's going to hit on that art house level. Pragmata does that same thing with the first hour of this game. I was like, I've never played anything like this before. I probably will never play anything like this again unless it's a sequel to this game. But god damn it if this game is not great.
It's phenomenal.
Uh
I'm having a blast, and it's so concise
mhm.
and
Yeah.
compact is not the right word, but like this game knows exactly what it is. Do I care about the story really right now? I don't. That could care less, but I'm having so
Yeah.
much fun playing. Like this game is a fun game to play.
I'm
And
on the
it
yeah.
knows what it is.
I'm on the very last area of the game. So I'm about to roll credits right now. And I can
Oh hell
tell you
yeah.
right now, the weakest point of Pragmata is the story. Um it's and it's one of those things where
And it's not
and
even bad. It's just like,
I'm gonna
I would
I'm
expect
gonna say something.
a game from Capcom, right? I think if you get and you've played more than me, so you might want to correct me. Maybe it gets worse, but like, not that it's bad. It's just like, it's just matter of fact. It is what it is. There's nothing deeper.
Right.
There's no hidden agenda here in this game.
There's some
Okay.
twists that come up a little
Okay.
bit later. That being said, I'm gonna say something, and Jerick, I just need you to get in my sandbox with me. I just
Okay.
need you
And
to climb in. Just take your shoes off, climb into my sandbox.
oh, tell me twice. I'm
I'm going to
in.
talk about another game about a father-daughter combo that has
Oh,
a terrible
Jesus.
story.
Okay.
The Last of Us. And
All right.
I want us to take a moment here, and I know that there's going to be people screaming at the top of their lungs. Patrick, one of them. That's why he's not here on today's episode. He finally quit. And that is that The Last of Us, if you think about it from a story perspective, nothing about it is incredibly unique. Nothing about it is like groundbreaking. If anything, you'd be like, oh, well, it tells us like more like a movie. But like, let's be honest, Kojima was doing that before, with Metal Gear Solid. Like, we were getting games as movies before The Last of Us. The reason we all love The Last of Us isn't the story. We love the dynamic between Ellie.
Oh, I'm in the sandbox. I'm shutting up now.
We love the dynamic between Joel and Ellie, right? And that's why we continue to play through, because we want to see what happens to them. I feel the same way with Pragmata, where I'm like, I'm here because of Diane and Hugh. Because of this just like incredibly wholesome combo, even though everything's dog shit, But like, you can go back. I talk about this. I'll tell you right now, one of the best examples of this is like Lone Wolf and Cub, this 1970s samurai film, is like, The Last of Us is so fucking, it just rips it off. The story of Last of Us 2 is better than the story of The Last of Us. I stand by that. People get fucking be shitty with me. I don't give a fuck. Tell me I'm wrong. Jerica, you're in my sandbox.
I know.
You're here to play with me.
You peed in the corner. You didn't tell me that before I sat down.
Well, okay. Do you disagree with me? I mean, you can disagree with me that you don't like the story of The Last of Us is the greatest story ever told. I think we did a ranking of this once before and we agreed on that. But in terms of the way that this relates to Pragmata, like, are you here for the relationship, or are you here for, or is it the
care
combo?
less about the relationship.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. About Hugh and Diana. I don't care. I can't get beyond the fact that when they first met, that Hugh, I don't know enough about Hugh, but he's like immediately treating this robot like a girl and like a real human, and I need to understand why. And I don't think they're going to give it to me.
It is interesting. They got story bits.
They got there real fast, and I'm like, they're just forcing this. Okay, cool. But I'm not complaining. I think this is still a wonderful game, and that would not put me off to it, because I'm going to keep playing the shit out of it, and I enjoy their banter. It's just goofy. It's not serious. Don't go into it wanting serious conversations.
Can I say that I actually enjoy that more?
You can enjoy it. What if I told you I'm also... It's sort of nice to just it. I would not compare this to Last of Us at all. Like, it's its own thing. I don't think for me personally. I'm glad this game exists, and I wouldn't want it any other way right now with the story. I wouldn't want this. I don't want that layer to this. I want this game to be really fun to play, and I'm so glad it's delivering, because it feels so good.
Sure. It does. It feels incredible. It looks incredible. And I know for a fact that they're about to do a rug pull where something's going to happen that's going to like set me off.
Okay.
Like, just how this is going, I know it's going to. I'm curious when that moment does happen, how we are both going to feel about this. We're both childless. Too. We're both barren, I'm pretty sure.
Very.
So if you were the pre-show, you would have heard all the things that I was going to do to myself to prevent me from ever having children. Including castration. That was the thing we talked about in the pre-show. If you weren't here for it, then, well, you missed out. That being said, before we move on to the next topic of the show, any final thoughts? Like, I mean, I stand by where I'm at, where I'm like, this game plays incredibly. It looks incredible. I'm having a shit ton of fun with it. It's nothing like I've ever played before, and I highly recommend it for people that are willing to take a risk.
I think it's worth every risk, and the fact that I'm dialed in should show you that it's worth it. It's so cool. Like, I love experiences where I don't like to get. This has been the perfect place for me. Believe it or not, got a little overwhelmed with Pokopia. Sort of drained by that game. There's so many options. I'm not comparing this to Pokopia either, but just like, and then just considering another open world game, like if I had to jump into that right now, it's exhausting. So I think like, this game's for me personally is at the right time, right place, like a concise experience that's unique and fun to play. I feel like at the point where I'm starting to master a certain weapon type, or I feel like hacking's getting too easy, I get to a new place where I get a new gun, or or there's a new enemy that's introduced, and I'm like, whoa, that's a different attack. That's harder. And I've done every red room I can find. I love those red rooms of death.
Are you playing on standard or easy?
Standard.
Okay, same.
If you don't know what the red room is, it's not a sex thing. It's like the dungeon that you can choose to participate in. That reminds me of Dune, by the way, a challenge room.
Have you ever heard of the film Red Room?
No.
There's 2 of them. They're Japanese films. Highly recommend. Hold on. Oh. I don't highly recommend. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I feel like, I don't know. I would say maybe watch them if you can find them. Very difficult to find because they're like super rare. I have them in obviously in my collection because I'm a fucking freak. I'm a fucking freak, Jerica. But they're extreme horror, and they do some shit. So every time it's like, do you want to enter the red room? And I'm like, fuck no. Absolutely fuck nah. I don't want to enter the red room. I don't want to be anywhere near a red room. I don't want to do anything about red room. I know what happens in those.
I want to watch this movie now. Just because it was a maybe watch, that makes us a hell yeah watch for me.
How does Audrey do with things that are terrible and make you feel awful inside?
You know, I'll give her a heads up, but we've both equally have consumed content that do that. So
I wouldn't put it on the same level of like a Serbian film, but I definitely would be like hesitant to recommend watching it, though it is interesting for what it is. Okay, well, final thoughts on Pragmata. I think we both give it a thumbs up that you should play. Maybe don't watch that movie though. Moving on to
Cayman said maybe, so beware.
Beware. To the milking the cow over here.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have a couple of topics for tonight's show that aren't just about Pragmata. We're going to talk about the 2 things I hate the most in the world: Xbox and Sony. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a good topic to shit on Nintendo, but here we are. So this comes from Patricia Hernandez at Polygon. The title of the article is Xbox Game Pass gets a price drop under new CEO, but there's a catch. She says, following a leaked memo from Xbox CEO Asha Sharma, Microsoft is officially lowering the price of Game Pass, its signature subscription service. Starting today, the top-tier Game Pass Ultimate subscription costs $22.99, down from $29.99. The PC-specific version of Game Pass now costs $13.99, a few dollars less than its previous price tag of $16.49. The catch is what is included in these tiers and when. According to Microsoft, everything that's currently included in either subscription will remain available after the price change. However, future Call of Duty games, including this year's unannounced Call of Duty entry, will no longer be a day one release on Game Pass. Instead, newer Call of Duty games will be available on Game Pass the following holiday season, or about a year after they first released. Existing Call of Duty titles already on the service will continue to be available for Game Pass subscribers. This change comes after just 2 Call of Duty games were day one releases through Game Pass, 2024's Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and last year's Black Ops 7. Now, they continue to go further where they kind of explain a little bit about why. It's basically stating like, Asha Sharma comes in, says that Game Pass is too expensive, which I don't 100% agree with, but sure. And then basically being like, the big thing here is that digital games are now getting reductions on Nintendo. Sony's now doing dynamic pricing. Xbox wants to stay competitive in all of these, but also they're losing money through the Activision Blizzard deal because the largest selling title is day one on Game Pass. That is the overarching narrative here that I think that we are locked in on. So I'm going to go ahead and pause there. Jerica, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I say this before any time I'm asked about a big shift in something that makes these corporations money. I'm no expert, but this is a smart move. If I don't understand, I've never been bought into Game Pass. Like, I've always dipped my toes in it. I've never used it as like a replacement. So like the fact that it was like, how much was it? Like $30 or whatever
Right.
when the price hike initially happened. Like, yo, at that point you're halfway there for just buying the game. Now
Sure.
I'll do it for like a month if I start seeing like other titles that are in the catalog that I want to try. But it's basically my demo service. Like I pay a month and then I cancel it.
Sure.
I know the hope is you forget about it or you find that there's too many games, you're going to keep it for a few extra months. And then like the whole Call of Duty being the reason it's there is like, I just don't hear, I know I have y'all in my life, but the other folks in my life that have kids in college, even like literally no one talks about Game Pass. Like everyone that I know's got the PlayStation in their home. Like, and if they
Right.
are playing anything else, it's on an iPad or a phone. So
Sure.
like, I never saw like Game Pass be like the thing that identifies Xbox.
Right. That's interesting you say that because I think Xbox wants you to, right? Because
That's what they
I
hoped.
mean, right, Microsoft's whole shtick right now is that it's like Xbox is everywhere. Everything's an Xbox. Your smart
I have
fridge
one of those
has
shirts. I
a
thought was so
screen on
funny,
it.
so I bought one, and I'm
Oh
so glad I
God.
have it. It's gonna be worth $1 million maybe one day. I don't know.
With the way inflation's going, probably. When we're all fucking too poor to wear clothes, we're just a bunch of fucking nude babies walking around.
Wee,
Um,
wah. There we go.
so I mean, I don't like. I think that's. I mean, that's Xbox's shtick is that they want. So like, it makes sense in a perfect world where you're like, oh, well, cool. If I can just hook my controller up to my iPad and from like Bluetooth, like if I can just Bluetooth it on my iPad, then I can play Xbox games cloud streaming on my iPad. It's an incredible idea. And with TVs like LG starting to roll out like Game Pass baked in as like an app you can use where you can cloud stream directly onto your TV, like, well, fuck, that's awesome. I don't actually need an Xbox to be able to do this. The problem is that I see with this is that their brand is fucked.
We don't know. Xbox is. I need that shirt to say Xbox don't know yet what
Right.
it is. It's also
It's
exploring like JK Games podcast.
it's
Trying a
in
few
growing
things.
pains. It's having some growing pains. It's fine. Look, it's experimenting. It's a freshman in college right now. It's dabbling a little bit here. It's dabbing a little bit there. Ain't nothing wrong with a bisexual, if you know what I mean.
No, nothing.
Absolutely none. You know what? If you want to explore, explore. I don't give a shit.
I love that
I've
it's
dated
a
enough girls that
bisexual.
were right. I've dated enough girls who've been exploring in their life to come to terms with that. And Xbox, I'm glad that you guys are going to take the risk. My problem is that if you continue to take risks and they keep failing, then eventually people lose trust in your brand. And unfortunately, Xbox specifically has been doing this for years now. One could probably even go back as far as like the 360 with the Kinect, or not the 360, the one with the Kinect, and being like, the Kinect was kind of dog shit, right?
It was so bad. Piece of
Right.
shit.
So like, there's so many things that are like, Xbox can't get its head like Xbox. It's very interesting when you juxtapose it next to Sony, and we'll get to Sony here in a minute. Don't worry. Sony is like, we're gonna win the race. Pulls shotgun out, blows its brains out. Xbox watches Sony commit suicide live on screen, right? And is like, cool, you know what we should do to take advantage of this? Drive our car into a tree. That'll show them like why like how can you when Sony continues to fuck up, how can you not capitalize on it? We're talking about the fact that like Xbox is doing the one thing that no one's doing, which is giving discounts. Everything's getting so much more expensive, and Xbox is like, okay, we're gonna get cheaper, and everyone's like, okay, cool, and why? Like, who gives a shit? If you were at that point where people are like, who gives a shit when you're announcing something monumental like this? Because the truth is like, yes, there's a huge chunk of gamers that only get Game Pass for Call of Duty. I get that. So you are going to be making more money by eliminating that. Like, I get it. But also, I just feel like people have given up on Xbox. And I think that this is a sign of a sinking ship.
Well, they just did such an incredible campaign of telling me where I could play my Xbox games. I could play it on my computer. I could play it on, my TV. So I'm like, cool, I'm going to sell this other Xbox I have. And then it seems like the games eventually are coming to PlayStation. Maybe not anymore, which is a smart move for them. I do think there's benefit to, when I start getting excited about moves, it's probably not best for them in the long run. Because as soon as I start hearing I could play my games everywhere, I don't have to buy a console for this or that. I love that. That's great for us. But I think the move is, if you want to make people keep coming to your ecosystem, is that you got to have exclusives, like, as the only way to have a competitive means to people playing your games on this box. Like, it's either one thing or the other. It's either they were going in the direction they were going, or if they go back to, this is Xbox, this is what we do, sounds like this is what they're hoping to achieve. Like, they got to have exclusives back, like, and make them count. Like, it seemed like, you remember the showcase that Xbox had? We talked about it a few times, I know, like on Dido, but like, this banger after the first like Xbox showcase after the new console came out was just a banger. I feel like every fucking game they showed just looks so good. Yeah. And I don't even know if some of those games came out at this point. I just remember I was really blown away.
I think a few of them, specifically like the Perfect Dark reboot, was canceled outright. A lot of games were just delayed significantly. They had, their whole shtick was that episode, that games showcase was like, or maybe it was the one before, was basically just like, most of the games you're going to see today are going to be coming out in this next calendar year, and like only one did. And like, you can't sell a dream and then not even get remotely close to fulfilling it.
Yeah, because I'm going to keep playing these other games on PlayStation, by the way, because that's where my achievements are, or my trophies, achievements, whatever. That's where my friends are playing the most. So like, Game Pass makes sense when I want to try a game and then I buy it on something else, or just buy it full cost.
Here's the thing. I'll say this right now, is that I do have a theory that Xbox specifically made Starfield's PS5 port dog shit.
I mean, it's not bad for me. I wasn't having a bad time.
Dude,
what are people saying about it?
All I've heard is nothing but crap. I want to go read a couple posts.
I am playing on a pro, so maybe that matters. I don't know.
It could be. I'm going to read a couple things from the chat. This is Sears Shard says, I love the Kinect and did make the Xbox the center of my entertainment center because it could route a cable DVR through it. And then they gave up on all the entertainment features to focus on games, which didn't really fix anything. So I gave up on Xbox. Then High Score Wheelie says, I'll die on the hill that Kinect and motion controls in general is underrated. And
High Score Weekly and Sears Shard, probably the only ones I ever known to say that, and I would expect that from them. But everyone else, who else did you go over to little Jimmy or Timmy and Tammy's home and see a Kinect in the middle of the living room? I saw a Wii, but I didn't see the Kinect.
Right. I wouldn't be shocked if Jake Twitchin right now is currently live
on a Kinect.
He's playing fucking Star Wars Dance Dance Revolution on his fucking Kinect. What a piece of shit. Let's move on and talk about how Sony hates us. This comes from Sammy Barker at Push Square. The article entitled PS5 Game Expiry, I believe, is it? Expiry DMR potentially explained. Sony still yet to comment. Now, the way that this article is written, if you go and read it, and I highly recommend checking out because it does give you like a full breakdown of like everything that's been happening in the last few days. And I'll start off by telling you this before I actually read the article. I get a text message from Boston Mike, friend of the show, Boston Mike, who's getting married this weekend. And Boston Mike texts me and he goes, dude, what the fuck? I'm not going to be able to play any digital games that I bought after 30 days if I haven't logged on to them. I was like, there's no fucking way that's true. And while that isn't technically true, Sony has been dead quiet about all of this. We still have no comment, at least of recording, about this. So let me go ahead and dive into the initial reporting, and this is from a couple days ago. So this is, like I said, Sammy Barker over at Push Square. So original story. There's been huge concern among PS5 and PS4 owners today regarding an alleged form of DRM introduced by Sony, which appears to suggest owned software will expire within a period of 30 days. However, it's important to caution that the reporting thus far is inconsistent. There's been no comment from the company itself, and there have even been some suggestions of the issue already being resolved. Here's what we know so far. Some newly purchased PS4 games have started to display a validity period of 30 days. Based on our testing, the issue only appears to be affecting PS4 games purchased within the last few weeks. We've been unable to replicate the disclaimer on a PS5, although some on social media claim they've seen the messages there as well. I'm going to fast forward to update number 3. Update number 1 and update number 2 basically just elaborate more, essentially stating like, hey, there is definitely something going on. We just don't know if it's a bug. That was the first update. It's like, we think it's a bug. Second update's like, we don't think it's a bug. This is the third update. We're deep into Tuesday today now, and still no comment from Sony on its reported DRM issues. We now have confirmation that the 30-day expiry timer is affecting software purchased within the past few weeks on both PS5 and PS4, but we still don't know if it's intentional or an error. However, a slew of statements from customer support have started circulating on social media. Essentially, there are people who've been posting unconfirmed social media or unconfirmed comments from PlayStation chat support, essentially stating, hey, if you buy a game and you do not log on to PlayStation Network within 30 days or after 30 days of purchase, then you will lose the license until you log on to the PlayStation Network. Okay. So there's another update, and this was right before we went live. And it's a theory, but I'm going to get into that in a minute. Jerica, I want to question, I'm curious where your head is at right now. You find out you bought a game, you don't have access to it after 30 days. Unless you log into the PlayStation Network. Is this a concern? Do you think that this is being dramatic? What do you feel like right now? Like, obviously this feels like Sony shooting themselves, but I want to know, like, how bad of a shot to the foot is this, in your opinion?
I'm gonna probably wait to hear, like, if this is actually the case, like, surely it's maybe a tracked thing. Like, has Sony come out and said anything about what's happening with this? Or is this just like what people have said through the grapevine? This is the first I've heard of it, so I'm just like listening to you talk about it. I never got the show notes, by the way. I don't know if it's my email, so I didn't get to this part. But did Sony say anything specifically?
Nope.
Okay.
Sony is still dead quiet.
Here's the deal. I feel like yes, it's very concerning because I don't want that to be the truth. But I mean, when you buy a game digitally, like that is, I feel like you don't technically own that game. You own that game, but there's fine print there that we never read. And I'm sure there's things there that definitely I've agreed to when I purchased this game that I might not know. Because
some say we can't even read. I don't know.
Definitely me.
I've been making this up this whole time. You think I have a script in front of me, a show notes in front of me?
Fuck.
I don't. I'm just making things up. I stand by the fact that, and those who know me or can just see, if you're watching live, you can see it, or watching in post, you can see it, that I have a massive physical DVD Blu-ray collection.
Preparing for the apocalypse. That was my first thought. What would I do if we've lost the internet? I don't know. Maybe I have power for like 5 more days, but
what would you do if you had to star in that Obama movie on Netflix, Kane? What would you do? Well, let me tell you right now. I still need to figure out what the hookup is with the whole library system of them getting rid of DVDs and shit at a certain period, because the truth is that this collection I can't let the collection get any smaller. It has to only grow. And it has to only grow because I need to try to acquire every film known to man so that when the apocalypse does happen, or I want to open up my own just like rental service, that like all of this is here. I've thought about trying to digitize to be like have like my own streaming service. That would be so much fun. But oh my God, I think the amount of RAM I would need to pull that off would cost me thousands of dollars. That being said, I do stand by as someone who also just like purchases all their games digitally, unless it's a Switch, which I don't think even matters anymore because I don't even know how Switch 2 works in
I
regards
barely
to
know,
them not
but it
making
knows
or
what it's
making.
doing.
Sure. So I am one of those people because I have seen it happen. I think that WB eradicating just films left and right. There was a movie that was on a streaming service, I think Amazon maybe, and someone lost the rights to it and then disappeared.
Yep, gone.
The Empty
Poof.
Man, I think was the name of it. Just gone. You can't watch it. It doesn't exist. There's nothing. It just doesn't exist anymore. Gone. Poof. It's depressing when in a reality like that. But to your point though, licensing and things like that, like you are essentially paying to rent a game when you buy it in today's economy. You're you don't own it unless you have a physical copy. And even to some degree, even some games will lock you out at a certain point after servers go down.
Yeah, you can't.
So it's such an interesting thing. But I do think there is definite room for concern here. And I definitely think that we need
I think
to
that
be
stuff, I mean,
pushing
obviously
back.
that stuff's tracked. I just wonder
Right.
like how much of it is, they meant to be front facing, front
Right.
end versus, on the back end. Because, it has to be tracked.
You don't want any back end. I see.
I don't
now,
want
so
the back end and the
you're
front end.
not the bottom.
Correct. Depends on the night.
That's fair. That's what Patrick and I say too. Just depends on the night.
Depends on the night.
Let me read update number 4, Jerica, because I think this might actually open a door and a glimpse into what may be actually happening. We don't know because Sony still hasn't confirmed anything, but I think that someone might have cracked the nut, and that there's also someone in our chat who is talking about it right now too. So don't worry, Sirius. I see your message in chat. I am about to address it. Update number 4 came live right before we went live ourselves. And
Oh,
that is
nice.
I will start. This is a little lengthy, so just stay with me here. A credible theory shared by user Anshrew on Reset Air is beginning to circulate, potentially making sense of Sony's alleged DRM issue. It's worth noting that while the research seems logical and has been corroborated by a preservation account Does It Play, we're still waiting on an official statement from the manufacturer, so don't take any of this as confirmation. But here is the theory. It's a type of temporary DRM designed to combat a potential loophole being exploited by some consumers. According to Anshrew's research, purchasing a digital game issues a temporary 30-day offline license usage. This license transitions to a permanent license when you connect to the PSN 14 days after making your purchase. From that point onward, your game will be permanently playable offline. The idea is that this exceeds Sony's 2-week refund window. The manufacturer issues refunds on digital software that's been purchased but never booted. It's therefore speculated that some people have been downloading games, immediately taking their consoles offline, requesting a refund, and then retaining ownership of the software. This new licensing system is argued is designed to combat that. It certainly explains a lot like what some people have seen the 30-day expiry timer suddenly disappear, but we can't help but wonder how many people are actually taking advantage of this loophole, and if it's truly worth all the hassle to Sony. Assuming this is the case, then it should be fairly easy to prove over the coming weeks, but what would be more straightforward is if the manufacturer came out and made a comment. So to summarize, newly purchased digital games have a 30-day offline license attached. If you connect to the PSN at any point after the 14th day of purchase, the license will become permanent and you'll be able to play your game offline in perpetuity. So, essentially what the theory states is that there are bad actors. Sony is combating the bad actors, but like most corporations do, when they combat something, they maybe go a little overboard, and then it freaks everyone the fuck out.
Yeah. But also like, I mean, all these thoughts about this are valid, it's just always been a thing, I'm sure.
Right.
Like, just as we see it as a message or read somewhere, I don't know, I forgot where the PS4 gave or something, whatever. I mean, everything's got those protections, and it's just a little scary to be forced to do anything with something you bought,
Sure.
It's like having, I own this home, but there's an HOA, and, I can't let my dog's shit just hang outside, but I bought this house. I own this patio. So like, why are you making me do that? Why does my dog's shit have to be connected to the internet? You know, I don't know.
You know, it is interesting though. It's something we really haven't talked about outside of your dog shit, and that is that
Smart shit.
that is
Yeah.
smart shit. That is that most games already, regardless of even if they're single player, require you to be connected to the internet to even play. So my thing is like, how do you circumvent that by using this loophole? Like, I can't tell you the amount of games that are just like, no. Like, no. For you to be able to play them, you have to be connected to the internet. So, like, how can you even, like, utilize this particular loophole to even make it, like, maybe there's a way to do it that I'm too stupid to understand. Like, you could probably, High Score Weekly is probably like, oh, well, if you use a VPN, you know, and which totally fair, dude. Like, you're much smarter than me, so you would know.
We also
Yeah, I
live
don't
in
know.
we also live in a day and age where when the game comes out too, there's like all these updates anyways. So like who's not connecting to the internet to play their games either.
Right.
And when we hit the reason, or I guess the moment in time where we can't connect to the internet to play our games, there's video games shouldn't be a concern if that's the problem.
Correct. It's interesting. It is an interesting point though you make there about like we're constantly updating games. I'm gonna do a temp check on Crimson Desert for you specifically. Is this something that anything that you've like remotely been considering ever playing?
Unless I get really bored and run out of things to play, there's always a lull at some point. That's going to be a lull game for me.
Can I tell you something wild?
Tell me something wild.
I just cracked 100 hours in Crimson Desert. I've been like playing it intermittently while playing Pragmata. That's why it's taken me so long to beat it. Because I can't stop playing it. I'm over 100 hours in. I'm only 60% of the way through the story.
Shut the fuck up.
And
oh my god.
This game, every time I boot it up, it is like playing a completely different game.
That's crazy.
Like I genuinely do not know how it is possible. I do not know how it's possible to ever beat this game, I think. Because they're adding more content in, and I'm like, what the fuck? That being said, the whole rough about to being said, or bringing this up, is that if you're this person who's like, I'm going to loophole it, you're playing arguably the absolute worst fucking version of a game. I can tell you right now, there's a way that you can fuck with the camera to make Crimson Desert look and play like Diablo.
Come on.
Like, it's so fucking fun just to try at least once. But like 1,000%, if anyone's on the fence of playing Crimson Desert, you should pick it up now because they fix so many complaints that like it is genuinely, I would say by the time the Game Awards rolls around, it could be like a straight up masterpiece. Like it's so fucking wild. Well, I think, needless to say, I think I'm settling on this point for myself and Jerica. It depends on where you land on it. But I think that this might just be that we are being a little bit trepidatious regarding Sony because they are pretty much anti-consumer. Let's be honest, they are.
I mean, yeah, most of them are, and
but it also, also could be the fact that, maybe we also as consumers are just leaping to the worst potential situation here, and that maybe this is not as nefarious as those initial reports sounded.
And honestly, you probably agreed to terms and conditions that state all of this, and we just don't read.
Correctamundo. Correctamundo. Jerica, what do you feel about wrapping up here?
Were we wrapping up?
We got one more thing to wrap up.
Okay,
we got one more thing to do to wrap up.
I'm really good at wrapping them up.
Okay, good. Then let's wrap up with a release radar. That's the theme song for this section. The release radar for May 2026. This is something we've been doing lately where we want to kind of run through the list of games that are coming out for the month of May. I'm going to go through the full list, and there might be some here. There might be some here that I may miss because this list could.
You may miss. Oh. Sorry.
God damn it.
Oh, that was good.
I'm rescinding our friendship now. I'm gonna do lightning round with you, Jerica. I want you to tell me hot or cold on all these games. Anything you want to spend time on, you tell me. We'll stop there. Starting off on May 1st, we have Constance coming to Xbox, PS5, and Nintendo Switch. May 5th, Wax Heads on PC, Xbox, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch.
We're playing that next week.
What is Wax Heads? Tell me.
It's a little indie game that we got turned on to, and we're like, hey, we should make content on that. But Kayla talked about it on the last show because I couldn't tell you. I just know this the game art, and I'm like, that art style looks dope. But like, let me pull it up real quick. The art style's cool. Like it's like a little record store situation.
Oh, cool. That's fun.
But I can't remember what kind of game it was. At a glance, it's like my style. Wax says it's a cozy punk narrative sim about working in a struggling record store, chat to quirky customers with unique tastes, and explore a handcrafted record collection, fall in love with bands and their drama, or just slack off with your colleagues. So, looks like there's a cash register, so, I'm so down. Looks like you're...
We know that you love that. Cash registers.
Yeah, I love a good cash register. I like a ching.
Just love putting.
I love just slinging it,
slamming your, slamming.
I'm one of those ladies, and then I go out and have a cigarette.
Fuck yeah! You just take them over swing whack. Mr. Hawks 182 says in Wax Head, you talk to the customers and help them find records they want. They tell you what they're looking for, and you search the store for the perfect record. Sounds a little bit like Retro Rewind, which is definitely my game of the year.
Yeah, forgot about that
right now. Great. Yes. Also, Kayla says giving Tiny Bookshop for music. Correct. All right. May 7th is Mixtape. You guys are actually going to do some episodes on that for Jake.
Yes.
Games, right?
Well, this is our first month. We're saving it to the end of the month, so we're gonna give people some time to play all of it, and then we're all meeting at the end, the butt of May, the crack, and then we're gonna talk about it. And was it a piece of poop or not?
Well, we're going to find out soon enough. That drops on May 7th on PC. I'm just going to say PC and the consoles.
PC and the consoles. Specific. That's going to be my new band name.
We got I like that band name, actually. We got 2 games dropping on May 12th. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle for the Nintendo Switch 2. And then, if I'm not mistaken, this is Dark Pictures Anthology and a game that Kayla, I believe, drafted for
Incorrect.
Fantasy Critic. Who drafted it?
Well, I think there's 2 games coming out this month that I keep getting confused.
Okay.
Aphelion is Don't Nod, and then Directive 8028, whatever year it is. Which one were you about to say?
Aphelion came out today, I believe.
Today, okay.
Directive
I get them confused.
Yeah. No, they look identical. I think Shay, friend of the show, is actually playing it right now. So
I hope it's good.
I mean, same. Look, shout out. I want a good game like that, but let's be honest, Dark Pictures Anthology hasn't been fantastic.
I
was about to stream Aphelion too. So
House of Ashes, I had a great time. That was such an awesome Dark Pictures episode. Should play with someone.
I played Man of Medan and was like, this is trash.
Man of Medan was not strong, but House of Ashes, I think.
House of Ashes, okay.
Give that a chance around Halloween, and me and Audrey passed the controller playing that one. It was fun. It was a good time. That was a fun story. So maybe they still got it in them. I didn't play the other 2, so I can't speak to those.
Okay. Well, Directive 8020 drops on May 12th, and that's coming to PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 5. Coming to PC and all the consoles on May 14th is Outbound, and then just on PC, May 14th, is going to be Darklight Survivor. So,
is Outbound the little camper game?
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, I think we're going to try to play that, stream that or something.
Dude, if that's the camper game, I'm so fucking down.
I think it's the camper game. Yeah, there's a couple of camper games out there right now, but I think that's the camper game.
Down to play that camper game, man. I also still need to go back and play. I've got a copy of it, but I need to go play Caravan Sandwich.
I started that and I was like, this is so good, and then I got pulled to do something else. So, but it's definitely worth your time. I had a good. I played about 2 hours of that game. It's fun.
May 19th on PC and Xbox is Forza Horizon 6. Is Forza Horizon 6 not coming to PlayStation, or is it coming later?
I have no clue. I'm sure.
Who cares?
I feel like those 2 were definitely Fable and Forza were also coming.
Later.
I just don't.
Series
they're coming
later.
They're coming later.
Coming later. Good. Here's the thing. I don't care about Forza Horizon, but we are doing a special event, I believe, that I might have spoiled by announcing today. So if I wasn't supposed to do that, then guess what? Suck it. Here's a game that I actually fear may pull me from doing anything productive for at least 10 to 15 hours. And that is on May 19th, Jerica, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are getting Darksiders War Mastered Edition. I fucking love the Darksiders series. I fucking love the Darksiders series. Specifically Darksiders 2, but also Darksiders 1 is a great fucking game and I love it. And I think it gets slept on and they need to bring that series back. Good. Patrick's not here. Thanks, Kayla. On May 20th, Thick as Thieves comes to PC. On May 21st, one of my personal favorite games, Coffee Talk, is getting its threequel, Coffee Talk Tokyo, on PC and the consoles. On May 21st, there's quite a few here. So I hope you're ready. And one of these I have a feeling you may want to play. So May 21st on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 5 is a game called Gallipoli. Sounds like a horse game.
How do you spell that?
Sounds Gallipoli.
Oh, I just typed that one word and it's some kind of war thing too. Oh, it's a peninsula.
Ugh.
Game.
Oh my god. Please tell me
this
it's
looks
not
like a war
of
game.
1812 or some bullshit. Gallipoli game. It's probably some fucking RTS. Let's see. Looking this shit up. What is this? What is this fucking game?
I guess this is the perfect time also, since did we spoil something? Did we spoil it?
No, we didn't spoil anything. There was nothing.
Okay, well,
we said.
I do have a confession to Patrick. I did forget to record this episode because, there's just a lot of things going on. Just wanted to add that. We'll have to download it from Twitch.
So
at least the audio is sort of there. Here's the deal. I usually have. I don't think I can host. I don't think I can be with you without my assistant Kayla because I just forget things.
I mean, that's fair. I couldn't exist without Patrick, so I understand.
Here we go.
That. They really shouldn't have let us do this, but we did. And it's on them, technically.
I thought I had it. I thought I could be that person for us, but I can't. Yeah.
Kayla's out here in the chat defending my honor, which someone's got to do it, right? Someone's got to do it. All right, let's keep going, moving through here. On May 21st, there's also Zero Parades, Dead for Spies on PC. And then we also get a game that I know for a fact that Kayla did draft, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book on the Nintendo Switch 2. Any thoughts on that? Are you going to play Yoshi and the Mysterious Book? I was a big fan of Woolly World.
I love Woolly World. Yeah, I think I'll pick it up at some point. I probably won't get it at launch, but that might be some gain. Once in a while, they're like $20 off sometimes around the holidays. So that'll be one of those games I try to pick up, or it just never goes on sale. It's either one or the other.
I know for a fact that there's a stream coming our way here soon. May 22nd is an absolute gangbuster of a day. And it starts with, on all the consoles and PC, Bubsy 4D.
Of course.
Is so fucking funny to me that we're getting a Bubsy game. Like, God,
I think that's the only game that Kayla's husband mentions to me. It's the only game he plays.
Just sits there. He's just like the fucking addict of Bubsy 3D. He's fucking creaming his leathers over Bubsy 4D right now.
Bubsy.
On PC, on May 22nd, we're also getting City Tales Medieval Era. Nintendo Switch 2 is getting Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn Edition, and then a game that I am incredibly excited for, and a game that, according to this list, is not coming to Switch 2 on launch day, Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. Seems odd that it's not. That can't be right. Maybe coming later? There's no way that it's not launching the same day. It says PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. That's what I'm getting here. Someone in the chat correct me. Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. I am fucking stoked for this game. I love the Lego Batman game, so this is very exciting.
Also a Hunter game, I feel like. It's a big month for Hunter.
He's creaming his leathers over a lot of things. Blaster Goblin on the chat. Hey, buddy. You wish you were me right now, weren't you? You little bastard. On May 25th, going into early access is Paralives on PC. Which, do you know anything about this? I do feel like this would be a very interesting stream for Kayla.
Okay. No, I
Paralives
don't.
is
I don't know what
like
it is.
it's like a weirdly, I don't know. It
No,
looks like Sims, but more of like live your life or something.
the art style
Ah.
reminds me of that truck game. I'm really excited for Truckful.
Mm.
But no, I do not know of this game. But it does look cool. Ooh, I like the customization of the homes. You know, I love a
Right.
good.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of you can pull couches and extend your couches. That looks fun.
I've been wanting to extend my couch for a long time.
Same, dude. I just got hit up by the company. We just bought a new couch a month ago, and they just called me today to be like, "Oh, hey, guess what? So that couch that's coming in a couple days, yeah, that couch doesn't exist because we sold out of all of them, and you're not getting your couch now." I fucking ballistic. So we won't have a
No,
couch in a few days. So exciting here at my house. All right, May 26th. There's a couple games here. None I've ever heard of, but maybe you have. First is coming to PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox. The Relic: First Guardian. On just the Nintendo Switch, Birushana: Winds of Fate. On PC, Stone Machia. And then on PC, PS5, and Xbox, Yerba Buena, which I have been seeing
what?
a lot of ads for that. Yerba Buena.
That sounds like a Cayman word.
Yerba Buena. Sounds like it sounds like a Latin porn star. Yerba Buena. Getting fucking rimmed by Yerba Buena on the casting couch. On May 27th, and this is what we're preparing for all month here at Dido, 007 First Light, which is coming to PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 5. And then we got a couple games on May 28th. That's going to be Crash Out Crew on PC, Wandering Sword on PS5, and Monochrome Mobius Rights and Wrongs Forgotten on the Nintendo Switch 2. And then rounding out the last two games of the month, on May 29th, Little Nightmares 2 Enhanced Edition on the Nintendo Switch 2, and a game that I know for a fact Hunter is playing, My Little Puppy on the Nintendo Switch.
Also,
And that's it. Those are the games allegedly coming out this month. Could they be delayed? Probably. Are we going to see a delay for Bubsy 4D? Probably. That would be the one game that gets delayed is going to be fucking Bubsy 4D.
man,
Even
My Little
funnier for
Puppy
those
looks like it's gonna
Darksiders.
be a game. It's got a halo. It's a corgi with a halo above its head. So I think it's died. This is gonna probably make you cry.
Oh no. I'm not prepared mentally or physically for that.
Yeah, the dog is flying through heaven. But there's a demon dog. There's a 3-headed dog. That's the one from Hades.
Cerberus? Oh,
Yes, one of those.
So
and it
your
just beat
dog-
the
so what they're
shit out of
saying
that
is
dog.
What I'm
Damn.
hearing is not all dogs go to heaven.
This is in the same vein. I can see that. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I got really
Heartbreaking.
distracted by that. Did not expect that when I clicked on that game.
I'm sad that exists. But you know what? I'm not sad exists this episode because it was a great time. Jerica, thank you for joining me today on the 203rd episode of Spotlight Games. Did we ruin some things? Probably.
Didn't record this
we-
episode. It's on Twitch though.
We didn't record the episode, which is probably a good thing.
Well, you could still get it. I think the audio quality is pretty good. I think it's salvageable. We've had to do this before, so it should be fine. It's fine.
It's fine. Well, Jerica, I appreciate you for being here. It was exciting. We should do it more often. If Patrick lets us, he probably won't.
You probably know. I've ruined my
probably
chances.
Yeah,
That's
they were
Kayla's
right.
job normally. Hey, did you hit record? Hey, stop recording. Record now that we're starting the episode. If anything, it's her fault for not being here.
They were right. We were too powerful and we were too disgusting.
Yes.
But we did an episode of a podcast together, and I'm proud of us for that. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, pop on over to dropindropout.com, pod.com.
Drop in pot.
Dropindropoutpod.com is the website. All of our socials are listed on that website. There's also other shit there. There's merch if you want to grab a sweet shirt and support us. But join us in Discord because we're having fun. And like I said, Thursday we're going to be doing a 007 retrospective in preparation for the new James Bond game coming out at the end of the month with First Light. So you're going to want to join us there. And that being said,
Am I
we
rating?
are going to wrap here and we're going to raid somebody. That being said, Jerica, if you want to go and wave to the camera and raid, we will shut this shit down. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.